What if the life you've been waiting for is not waiting for better timing, but waiting for a better version of you? Think about that. How many dreams have you postponed? How many opportunities have you delayed? How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? The truth is, tomorrow has become the hiding place of your potential. Every day you wait, the same life repeats itself. The same thoughts, the same habits, the same excuses. And before you know it, years have passed. But today something changes. Because the biggest transformation of your life will not begin when the conditions are perfect. It will begin the moment you stop waiting for permission and decide to become the person you were meant to be. The future is not coming to save you. The future is being created by what you do today. How much of your life have you spent waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for more confidence, waiting for motivation, waiting for a sign, waiting for things to finally feel perfect? Most people believe their future is being delayed by circumstances. They think their transformation is waiting somewhere in the distance, just beyond the next achievement, the next breakthrough, or the next perfect moment. But what if the thing holding you back is not your situation? What if it's the waiting itself? The truth is, waiting can become a comfort zone. It doesn't feel like one at first. It feels responsible. It feels logical. It feels safe. You tell yourself you're being patient. You tell yourself you're preparing. You tell yourself you're gathering more information before taking the next step. But beneath all those reasons is often a deeper reality. Waiting protects you from risk. Waiting protects you from failure. Waiting protects you from rejection. And most importantly, waiting protects you from change. Because the moment you decide to move forward, everything becomes real. Your excuses disappear. Your comfort zone is challenged. Your current identity is forced to evolve. And that is exactly why so many people stay stuck. Not because they lack potential. Not because they lack talent. Not because they lack intelligence. But because they have become comfortable postponing their future. They live with the illusion that one day everything will align perfectly. One day they will wake up feeling completely ready. One day all their fears will disappear and confidence will magically arrive. But life doesn't work that way. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build. Clarity is not something you find before action. Clarity is something you discover through action. The people who transform their lives are not the people who have all the answers. They are the people who move forward despite not having them. They understand that growth begins at the edge of uncertainty. They understand that waiting rarely creates change. Action creates change. Every day you remain in the same place, telling yourself someday, you are strengthening the very reality you claim you want to escape. And every day you choose action over hesitation, you begin creating a different future. Because transformation does not begin when conditions become perfect. Transformation begins the moment you stop asking for permission from the future and start taking responsibility for the present. The life you've been waiting for may be waiting for you to take the first step. One of the biggest illusions that keeps people stuck is the belief that there will eventually be a perfect time to begin, a perfect time to change, a perfect time to take action, a perfect time to become the person they know they could be. They tell themselves, I'll start when life becomes less busy. I'll start when I have more confidence. I'll start when I know exactly what I'm doing. And before they realize it, months turn into years. Years turn into decades. And the life they wanted remains trapped in the future. The truth is, the perfect time does not exist. It never has. And it never will. Look at any meaningful transformation in history. Look at any successful person. Look at any individual who completely changed the direction of their life. Almost none of them began under perfect conditions. They started when they were uncertain. They started when they were afraid. They started when they felt unprepared. Because they understood something most people never learn. Perfection is not a requirement for progress. In fact, waiting for perfect conditions is often just another form of procrastination disguised as wisdom. The mind loves certainty. It wants guarantees before taking risks. It wants proof before making decisions. It wants to know exactly how everything will unfold. But transformation demands something different. It demands courage. It demands movement before certainty arrives. Imagine if a farmer refused to plant seeds until he could guarantee perfect weather for the entire year. Imagine if an artist refused to create until every doubt disappeared. Imagine if a person refused to take a step forward until they could see the entire road ahead. Nothing would ever happen. Growth happens because people move despite uncertainty. They act before they feel completely ready. They trust the process before they can see the outcome. And that is what separates those who transform their lives from those who remain trapped in endless preparation. The reality is that your circumstances may never be ideal. There may always be challenges. There may always be reasons to wait. There may always be excuses that sound reasonable. But every day you postpone action. You postpone the person you are capable of becoming. And every day you choose action, even imperfect action, you move one step closer to a different future. Because the people who experience extraordinary change are not the people who found the perfect moment. They are the people who stopped waiting for it. The perfect time is not coming. The moment you've been waiting for is already here. And your transformation begins the instant you decide that today is enough. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are building your future self. Not someday, not next year, not when circumstances improve. Right now, the person you will become tomorrow is being shaped by the choices you make today. And that is why waiting is so dangerous. Most people think waiting is neutral. They believe that if they don't move forward, at least they're not moving backward. But life doesn't work that way. Every day you choose not to act, you strengthen your current reality. You reinforce the same habits, the same beliefs, the same routines, and the same identity. In other words, doing nothing is still a decision, and every decision has consequences. Think about it. If someone spends years saying they want to become healthier but never changes their habits, what future are they creating? If someone dreams of success but avoids taking action, what future are they building? If someone wants a different life but continues making the same choices, what result should they expect? The answer is simple. The future will look very similar to the present. Because transformation is not created by intention alone, it is created by action. Many people become trapped by the fantasy of their future self. They imagine a stronger version of themselves, a more confident version, a disciplined version, a successful version. But they treat that future person as if they will magically appear one day. The truth is far more powerful. Your future self is not waiting for you somewhere ahead. Your future self is being created by what you do today. Every small action matters. Every habit matters. Every choice matters. The book you read, the thoughts you entertain, the risks you take, the excuses you accept. These seemingly small moments are quietly constructing the person you are becoming. And here's what most people fail to understand. Transformation is not an event. It is a process. You do not suddenly wake up as a completely different person. You become that person one decision at a time, one action at a time, one day at a time. That means the life you want is not built in the future. It is built in the present. Right now, at this very moment, you are either creating momentum toward your goals or reinforcing the reality you claim you want to escape. There is no standing still. There is only creation. So ask yourself a simple question. If you continue making the same choices for the next year, where will they take you? Because the future version of you is not something you find. It is something you build. And the person you become tomorrow is being created by the choices you make today. One of the biggest reasons people remain stuck is not a lack of intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It is fear. But fear is clever. It rarely announces itself openly. Fear doesn't usually say, "I'm stopping you from growing." Instead, it disguises itself as preparation. It tells you that you need more time, more knowledge, more resources, more confidence, more certainty. And because these excuses sound reasonable, you believe them. You convince yourself that you're being responsible. You tell yourself you're simply getting ready. You promise that once you learn a little more, once you feel a little stronger, once everything is perfectly aligned, then you'll finally begin. But here's the uncomfortable truth. For many people, preparation never ends. There is always another book to read, another video to watch, another course to complete, another reason to postpone action. And while they are busy preparing for life, life keeps moving without them. The tragedy is not that they lack potential. The tragedy is that they never give their potential a chance to become reality. Think about it. How many opportunities have been missed because someone was waiting to feel ready? How many dreams have remained dreams because someone kept telling themselves, "Not yet"? The reality is that readiness is often created through action, not before it. Nobody feels completely prepared when they take their first big step. Nobody feels completely confident when they enter unfamiliar territory. Nobody begins a new chapter with all the answers. Growth doesn't happen before action. Growth happens because of action. The first step creates experience. Experience creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. And momentum creates transformation. But if you never take the first step, the cycle never begins. That is why fear loves endless preparation. Because as long as you are preparing, you feel productive without facing the risk of failure. You can tell yourself you're making progress while staying safely inside your comfort zone. Yet comfort zones have a hidden cost. They protect you from discomfort, but they also protect you from growth. And sooner or later, every person reaches a moment where they must make a choice: continue preparing forever, or begin becoming. Because there comes a point when another plan won't change your life. Another idea won't change your life. Another day of waiting won't change your life. Only action can do that. And the moment you stop preparing for the life you want and start living it, transformation finally begins. One of the greatest myths about transformation is the belief that it happens all at once. People imagine a single moment that changes everything, a massive breakthrough, a dramatic decision, a sudden event that instantly transforms their entire life. But real change rarely works that way. In reality, the biggest transformations often begin with the smallest actions. A single decision, a single habit, a single step taken in the right direction. And because these actions seem small, most people underestimate their power. They think small actions don't matter. They think one workout won't make a difference. One book won't change their mindset. One difficult conversation won't change their relationships. One day of discipline won't change their future. But what they fail to see is that transformation is not created by one action. It is created by repeated actions. The small things you do every day eventually become the life you live. Think about a plane leaving an airport. If its direction changes by only a few degrees, it may seem insignificant at first. For the first few miles, the difference is barely noticeable. But over time, that tiny adjustment can lead the plane to an entirely different destination. Your life works the same way. Small changes in behavior create massive changes in outcomes. A few extra minutes spent learning each day, a few healthier choices each week, a few moments of courage when fear tells you to stay still. At first, nothing seems different. The results are invisible. The progress feels slow, and this is the stage where most people quit. They expect immediate rewards. They expect dramatic evidence that their efforts are working. But transformation is happening beneath the surface, just like a seed growing underground before it ever breaks through the soil. Every action is building momentum. Every choice is strengthening a new identity. Every small step is proving to yourself that change is possible. And eventually something incredible happens. The habits become easier. The mindset becomes stronger. The confidence becomes real. What once felt impossible starts feeling natural. And when people look at your success, they call it a breakthrough. But you know the truth. It wasn't one moment. It was hundreds of small moments. Hundreds of decisions nobody noticed. Hundreds of actions that seemed insignificant at the time. Because extraordinary lives are not built through extraordinary actions. They are built through ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. And the transformation you're waiting for may begin with the smallest step you choose to take today. Most people spend years waiting for confidence before taking action. But confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is the result of action. They wait for clarity before making a decision, but clarity often appears after the decision has already been made. The truth is, life responds differently when you begin moving forward. The moment you take action, something shifts inside you. You stop identifying with the person who keeps waiting, and you begin becoming the person who creates change. At first, the movement may seem small. One decision, one conversation, one new habit, one risk, one step. But that single step creates momentum, and momentum is powerful. Because once momentum begins, things that once felt impossible start becoming achievable. The fears that looked enormous begin shrinking. The obstacles that seemed overwhelming become manageable. The goals that felt distant suddenly feel within reach. Not because the world changed overnight, but because you changed. You became someone willing to move despite uncertainty. And that is where transformation truly begins. Think about every major breakthrough in your life. Every achievement. Every positive change. Every moment that shaped who you are today. None of them happened while you were standing still. They happened because at some point, despite the fear, despite the doubt, Despite not knowing exactly what would happen next, you moved. And that single act of courage created a chain reaction. One action led to another. One opportunity led to another. One decision opened the door to possibilities you couldn't see before. That is why waiting is so dangerous. When you wait, life stays the same. When you move, life begins to respond. The opportunities you seek become visible. The lessons you need begin appearing. The growth you desire starts unfolding, not because everything becomes easy, but because you finally enter the process. And the most beautiful part is this: you don't need to know every step. You don't need to have every answer. You don't need to feel completely ready. You only need the courage to take the next step. Because the future you've been dreaming about is not waiting for a perfect version of you. It's waiting for the version of you that decides to begin. And the moment you stop waiting and start moving, your transformation is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable. One day you'll wake up and realize that the door was never locked. The opportunity was never missing. The power was never absent. The only thing standing between you and the life you wanted was the decision to begin. The moment you stopped waiting, you started transforming. The moment you started transforming, your reality began to change. And the moment your reality changed, you finally understood a truth most people never discover. Your life was never waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment was waiting for you.